Lin Fan travels through the Douluo Continent and activates the Qian drop treasure system. As long as you follow important characters in this book, you can continuously pick up treasures, attributes, and other items. Lin Fan, who originally wanted to follow Tang San and pick up attributes, was not valued by Xiaogang. In a fit of anger, Lin Fan dropped out of Shrek and went to seek refuge with Crown Prince Xue Qianren Xue, of Kendo as the villain of Douluo. Qianren Xue drops treasures every day no worse than the protagonist Tang San. Using the Zhuge divine crossbow blueprint and forging techniques found by Tang San's side, Lin Fan assembled the Zhuge divine crossbow. Xue was overjoyed and rewarded with 10,000 gold coins using the sun's fire falling from the side of Qianren Xue. Lin Fan forged a divine artifact. From then on, Lin Fan followed Qianren Xue to pick up attributes, guide the rivers and mountains, and become a god and ancestor. Keywords of the novel. Douluo. Qi luck attributes, start with Qianren Xue without a pop-up window, Douluo. Qi luck attributes, start with Qianren Xue. Download the complete set of TXT. Douluo. Qi luck attributes, start with Qianren Xue. Read the latest chapter of Qianren Xue. Chapter 1. Dropping out Shrek and joining Qianren Xue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Dropping out Shrek and joining Qianren Xue at Douluo Continent. Tiando Empire, Tiando City. Xue Qinghe looked solemnly at the Zhuge crossbow on the table, his gaze fixed. Your Highness, we tried to dismantle this item, but the craftsman said it would be discarded if dismantled. It is no longer possible to assemble it now, said a man seriously. Who made this thing? It is Tang San whom you have seen before. According to the intelligence I have gathered, Lord Ming has now reached a cooperation agreement with him. Xue Qinghe shook his head slightly, feeling a bit regretful. Tang San should not have been released before. These days, at the Continent Soul Masters competition, she also learned a lot of intelligence and learned that Shrek's team should not be underestimated. If Tiando Royal Academy had not rushed people back then, perhaps she could have accepted this team for her own use. What else is there? Xue Qinghe saw that the man had not left yet and asked in confusion. Your Highness, there is an unemployed refugee who knows you value talent and wants to come and join you. His strength is good, he is 15 years old, with a soul power of 41 levels. His martial soul is a sword, which has never appeared in the Douluo Continent. I cannot tell the specific level, but he is definitely a talent. At the age of 15 and 40.1, he is considered a good figure in the Tiando Royal Academy. His talent is surprisingly that he is an unemployed refugee. Where did he obtain the resources from? He should have belonged to a college before, right? I haven't investigated this yet. Let him come see me, Xue Qinghe said. Xiaoqing, the man led a young man into the office. The young man is 1.8 meters tall, with sword eyebrows and starry eyes, a handsome appearance, and a charming temperament. Even wearing simple clothes cannot stop his temperament, and even in the crowd, he can be easily found. This surprised Xue Qinghe slightly. Since such a person was silent and nameless before. I heard you want to be loyal to me. But I don't accept people of unknown origin, Xue Qinghe said, with a calm demeanor, staring at the young man's divine eyes. I used to practice at a junior soul master academy in the kingdom of Hagen-Dazs and received help from a teacher. Later, I reached level 30 and wanted to participate in the Continent Elite Soul Master competition. So, I came to Shrek Academy and stayed there for a while, but they didn't give me a chance to play. I heard that His Highness is a person who loves talent, so I came to seek refuge and am willing to serve His Highness for millions of years. The young man spoke seriously. When he said he wanted to be loyal, it surprised Xue Qinghe very much. I didn't expect such a handsome and talented person to dare to say so when they first saw themselves. The first time you saw me, you were so sincere. My Highness was afraid. Xue Qinghe smiled faintly. Her current appearance was ordinary, but even so, she still had a gentle temperament, gentle and elegant, full of noble young master's temperament. Lin Fan smiled and said, "I have heard that your highness loves talents. His opponents are quite generous. If your highness treats me well, then naturally I am willing to be loyal to you for eternity. Do you want to shine in the elite soul master competition?" "Yes, and also educate those 7 monsters." Lin Fan said firmly. "Okay, your highness has temporarily arranged for you to join the Royal Academy. How about leading the Imperial Do? Huangdou. Isn't that you Tianheng's team?" "I'm afraid he won't want to," Lin Fan said in surprise. "It depends on what you strive for. Give you a chance to perform well. If you play well in the next battle, then let you join the first team." Lin Fan thought for a moment and agreed. "Then Zhuge will treat him to a meal." Lin Fan followed behind her. A panel appeared in front of him. There are 4 characters on the panel, indicating the auspicious luck and treasure. Lin Fan is a traveler. 15 years ago, when crossing to the Douluo Continent, the Qi luck drop treasure system was activated. As the name suggests, people with high luck will drop treasures and attributes. This luck is worth it, as it plays an important role in the Douluo Continent. People who are beneficial to the protagonist will also drop treasures, such as the village chief Jack who guides Tang San to awaken his martial soul. Lin Fan thought of coming to Tang San's side to collect wool after the age of 12. He came to Jack's side from the beginning, and after staying for over a month, his soul power increased to level 31. When he reached the level he wanted, he went to Soto City to seek help from Shrek Academy and followed the main characters to collect treasures. By the side of the protagonist group, he found many good things, but by this time the 7 monsters had already formed, and he couldn't accommodate them. He joined just a few days after Tang San and the others killed the Imperial Do squad. Afterwards, I followed them all the way to Qianren City. A while ago, the competition started, and throughout the qualifiers, Xiaogan's old pussy refused to let him play, making him even more popular. So he stopped working and dropped treasures just like the protagonist group and the villain. And that villain is naturally Qianren Xue. On Douluo Continent, besides the protagonist group, Qianren Xue is considered the second most important character. After all, he is a major villain, and of course, there is also Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong's identity is too high for him to contact, so he can only come and seek refuge with Qianren Xue, who is no weaker than Bibi Dong. Now, Qianren Xue is still hidden in the palace, which is a good opportunity to get close. Lin Fan collected the attributes and treasures around a wave of Qianren snow. Normal attribute from Qianren snow drop, soul power level 1, obtain a 100-year soul ring from the ordinary attribute dropped by Qianren snow. Lin Fan looked at the panel with great satisfaction. He is truly a villain, just following him can drop so many, and his quality is not inferior to Tang San at all. If you want to drop something more ruthless, you need to go through battles. Fighting weakens your luck, and the best thing to drop is also the best. Now, following Qianren Xue, I can openly beat those 7 monsters. I think I will gain more attributes in the future, but unfortunately, it's a pity for the opportunity of immortal grass. Tang Sanner, I have also been trained with you from Soto City, and have made contributions to the team. I am not one of them. Lin Fan clenched his fist, feeling very regretful. He used to think that Tang San would bring a fairy grass to him because he was a companion. As far as he knew, Tang San's inventory also contained fragrant Qilua fairy products and snowy swan kisses. The snowy swan kiss is poisonous grass. Eating the fragrant Qilua immortal pill can increase poison resistance and some soul power, but Tang San did not give it to him. At this moment, Lin Fan had a thought of detachment in his heart. Until the start of the game later, Xiaogang, this bastard, refused to play for himself and chose to support the former Blue Bull Academy's Jiang Zhu and Tai Long. Both of them are not as powerful as themselves, but they have had the opportunity to engage in team battles. The two of them can be considered as close relatives of the Blue Bull Academy. After all, Shrek was able to participate because of the Blue Bull Academy. At that time, Lin Fan looked at the dropped attributes and chose to endure. Later, he once again proposed to fight the Battle of the Blaze Academy. Xiaogang once again refused with the reason that the 7 monsters needed to be adjusted. From then on, Lin Fan knew that if you have different circles, don't force yourself to blend in. Lin Fan shared some of his past with Qianren Xue, who was a bit surprised to hear this. I didn't expect it to be like this. Now the 7 monsters are almost at level 40, but you come to me and fight for me well. You have both wealth and beauty. Qianren Xue poured a glass of wine for the young man and also gave him 1,000 gold soul coins as a reward for defecting. By the way, I saw the scattered Zhuge crossbows on His Highness's table before. Lin Fan suddenly thought of something and said. What, do you know how to fix it? According to the intelligence I received, it's Tang San's exclusive skill, and no one else knows except him. Qianren Xue's face suddenly changed, and she looked at the young man with some seriousness. Hee, I can give it a try, Lin Fan said. Now that she's had enough to eat and drink, it's time to show Qianren Xue a hand and let her know that she found the treasure today. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Restoration of Zhuge Divine Crossbow, 1000 Renxue Great Joy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Restoration of Zhuge Divine Crossbow, 1000 Renxue Great Joy. Return to the office. Lin Fan sat across from Qianren Xue, fiddling with the parts in front of him. Quickly assembled the scattered Zhuge crossbows together. The core of the Zhuge crossbow is that it has a point that moves when dismantled and then breaks down. Without drawings, it is impossible to assemble a pile of parts without advanced technology. Even the height of the Divine General's building only achieves the step of assembly. Because the material has been discarded, he doesn't know where the mechanism is. But these Lin Fan know. And other substitutes were used to completely repair the Zhuge crossbow. Watching this scene, Qianren Xue's eyes showed a strange expression, and he was pleasantly surprised. She was aware of the power of Zhuge's crossbow. Although she didn't need it, equipping ordinary people would increase their combat power several times. It seems you have gained a lot from Tang San, said Qianren Xue with a smile on her face, steady as an old dog. At best, the Zhuge crossbow is just a cold weapon. I also know how to make weapons more powerful than the Zhuge crossbow, Lin Fan said. What is that? Qianren Xue knew the damage of Zhuge's crossbow and casually broke through his soft armor. If it were placed in the hands of soldiers and formed into a battalion, it would definitely cause good killing power. Now Lin Fan says there are even more powerful ones, which makes her hard to believe for a while. Fire gun, Lin Fan said. These skills were certainly not learned by Lin Fan from his past life. The attributes he has mastered now are all the ones he found by following Tang San, and he also found Tang San's cheat, Xiaotian. Just being by Tang San's side before, he was afraid of being poisoned to death by Tang San's secret, so he never showed it. Now that I have defected to Xue, let's show it casually. If anything happens, Xue will bear the burden. In addition to finding the blueprint of the Zhuge Divine Crossbow, he also had some forged attributes and some weapons that corresponded to ancient times. A firearm is a relatively simple weapon. This world does not reuse gunpowder. The only place used is the artillery. Tang San's first hidden weapon of the Tang clan, the hand grenade Buddha Nu Tang Lien, requires gunpowder. Looking at Lin Fan's confident face, Qianren Xue felt that it was a bit hasty to send him to the imperial battle before. Even if Lin Fan doesn't show any advantage in soul power now, just being able to manufacture the Zhuge Divine Crossbow is enough for him to reuse. The firearm you mentioned is not in a hurry. Would you be willing to inform the royal craftsman of the manufacturing method of the Zhuge Divine Crossbow? Qianren Xue was not in a hurry and tried Lin Fan's level first. Of course, His Highness is very kind to me. He just gave me 1,000 gold coins, which is much better than me at Shrek's, where the money I won in the game was controlled by the greedy dean, making me very poor. Lin Fan roast. Haha, this afternoon I'll take you to see the craftsman. There will be many rewards tonight. I wonder if you want a woman or money. Qianren Xue smiled. Money, I'm not good at women, Lin Fan said calmly. I am someone who wants to flirt with the snow, and as the first beauty of Douluo's era, it is definitely his ultimate goal. Qianren Xue nodded slightly, and the sincere gaze of the young man made her unable to see any unusual colors, which she quite liked. In the afternoon, Lin Fan met the craftsman of the Qianheng Empire. He taught craftsmen various parts, and in addition, he also drew some drawings. They are small hidden weapons from Tang San, such as the flying god hook and the silent sleeve arrow. These things are a huge wealth. That craftsman is also strictly monitored to avoid being exposed. Craftsmen learn to craft the Zhuge divine crossbow, and it is impossible for Tang San to raise the price in the future because this is no longer his exclusive secret recipe. As night fell, Qianren Xue and Lin Fan temporarily separated after finishing dinner. She was in a good mood and unexpectedly dropped some nice things. Lin Fan was pleasantly surprised. The decline of qi can be divided into 3 levels. The first level is to fall along with fate, and the other party has no strange state. The second state is when Tang San is in a good mood, angry, or desperate state, and things that fall will also be more precious. The fragments of Xiaotian skill, Zhuge divine crossbow blueprint, and forging technique obtained by Lin Fan are treasures that Tang San drops when he is in a good mood. The third state is naturally a severe blow. According to the system, it may even drop artifacts, level 10 soul power, and top-notch martial souls. Lin Fan arrived at the single-room dormitory of the Tianheng Royal Academy and was preparing to report tomorrow. The next game is the Imperial Do and Kamikaze Academy in the Amaterasu Royal Academy. If everything is expected, Emperor Do will be violently beaten by the Kamikaze Academy. And Shrek College's opponent is Tianheng College. After this battle, the Tianheng division will advance to the semi-finals. There is a tricky figure at the Shenfeng Academy, Feng Xiaotian. It's not realistic to defeat him just by relying on those guys like you Tianheng. It seems that I can't hide anymore. Lin Fan let out a long sigh. I originally planned to shine during the battle at Shrek Academy, give Shrek a long face, and make the main characters feel good and lose some good things. Now he can only use the things accumulated over the years together. In order to be able to follow the protagonist group steadily. Lin Fan didn't have a breakthrough that was too urgent. Because he wants big information, he can only follow the group and has been deliberately suppressing his soul power, soul ring age, and so on. Use level 5 soul power. Lin Fan was not too anxious, and even if he wanted to stay by Qianren Xue's side, he was not in a hurry to soar. He has level 20 soul power stored in his backpack. After using it, Lin Fan felt like his whole body was full of strength. He climbed to level 46. Add the lifespan of a 10,000-year soul ring to the 4th soul ring, Lin Fan controlled with his mind. In the backpack, the soul rings accumulated together for a total of 120,000 years have disappeared for 10,000 years. 4 soul rings appeared on Lin Fan's body. The original 2 yellow and 2 purple colors have turned into 2 yellow and 1 purple, 1 black. Improving so much, I think it's enough for me to cut off the wind and laughter, Lin Fan thought to himself. His martial soul is a dragon-slaying sword gifted by the system. This sword possesses the ultimate metallicity, which is the attribute of the dark gold claw bear in the starry forest. The sharpness of metal is very strong. With its own dragon-slaying domain, dragon-type soul beasts entering it will be suppressed by 20%, while other martial souls will be suppressed by 10%. It is a trump card that he has never revealed. If you beat Feng Xiaotian, you don't need this thing either. Combining your own level 46 soul power with a 10,000-year soul ring is enough. After upgrading, Lin Fan checked the latest dropped items. Name: The Hidden Soul Bone of Qianren Xue Year. 1000 Years Effect. Can change appearance and mask soul power. This thing will help me transform and beat people in the future, Lin Fan said with a smile on his face. On the other side, Qianren Xue felt happy that she had found a genius today. A man appeared in the room and reported the investigation to him. The survey results are exactly the same as what Lin Fan said, which makes Qianren Xue even more happy. Make good use of Lin Fan, and you will not be weaker than Tang San, Qianren Xue thought with a contented heart. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Joining the Huangdou, Captain Yu Tianheng of the Battlegrounds. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 3. Joining the Huangdou, Captain Yu Tianheng of the Battlegrounds. Purple energy came from the east, and Lin Fan had already gone to cultivate the purple extreme demon eye. He had followed Tang San before and was afraid of being secretly poisoned and killed by the other party. Therefore, even after accumulating fragments of the purple extreme demon eye, he still dared not practice, just like Xiaogang. Now that he has left, he naturally needs to make good use of the cheats of the mistress. Purple extreme demon eye cultivates spiritual power, while Xiaotian cultivates soul power. Especially Xiaotian, which is the ultimate cheat that runs through the Douluo world. In the original work, after Tang San committed suicide and was reborn, he still relied on this Xiaotian to take off. After completing his cultivation, Lin Fan arrived at the training ground. Are you the person the Crown Prince planted here? It's quite arrogant to take away my captain's position as soon as you arrive. Yu Tianheng looked at Lin Fan with a displeased expression, his eyes full of targeted intent. Don't worry, with me around, you won't lose to Feng Xiaotian in the next game, Lin Fan said confidently as he looked at Yu Tianheng. Just you. What level are you at now? Yu Tianheng looked unconvinced. Just as they were about to speak, a few more people walked over. Lin Fan's gaze suddenly fell on a girl. The woman was wearing a college uniform, with a pair of long, white and slender legs exposed. She has delicate facial features, a delicate and pointed face, round and watery eyes, and long white hair. Her tall figure and unusual temperament made her stand out from the crowd of ordinary people. At this moment, Yi Lingling also felt someone staring at her. Meimo looked over and a hint of amazement flashed through her eyes. The young man who was staring at him was a talented and elegant person. At this moment, the other party was also looking at herself, which inevitably made the girl think a little too much. Captain, who is this person? Said a young man with an ordinary appearance, looking at Lin Fan and then at Yu Tianheng. A genius arranged by the Crown Prince asked me to hand over the position of captain, but I told the Crown Prince that if he wants the position of captain, he must use his own abilities to snatch it, said Yu Tianheng with some displeasure. He can't stand these relationship holders the most, they make people angry one by one. Do you know what this kid was barking at just now? He said he could defeat Feng Xiaotian's team. Yu Tianheng repeated Lin Fan's arrogant words without any concealment, with a strong sense of purpose in his words. Lin Fan frowned slightly, not really liking the title of this product. When Lin Fan first joined Shrek, it was only a few days after the defeat of the Officialdom team. So the other party doesn't know him. Seeing that Lin Fan was silent, Yu Tianheng didn't say anything more. After the team arrived, he dueled with this person. His captain position cannot be handed over so easily. Huh, brother, don't tease me. Feng Xiaotian is currently at level 44 soul power, and his team members are not weak, even the captain says they are not opponents. The young man who just spoke said, this person's name is Oslo, and he is a sensitive attack soul master in the Officialdom team. I know Feng Xiaotian's information. He has innate soul power and is very talented, but who says he is the only one with innate soul power? Lin Fan said calmly. As soon as these words were spoken, the faces of the people present changed slightly. Is this kid in front of me also naturally full of soul power? Are you showing your soul power? Don't just talk without practice, Tianheng immediately spoke up. Lin Fan didn't hide anymore and quickly unleashed his soul power. 4 soul rings slowly rise from below. Yellow, yellow, purple, black. 4 soul rings appeared, and a burst of suppression power erupted. 46 levels. And there's also a 10,000-year soul ring, just like that Tang San. Osratan, who was just mocking, widened his eyes. Tianheng's eyes also shrank slightly, a bit incredulous. Level 40, can absorb soul rings for thousands of years. How could this be possible? If Tang San's words are an exception, why is there another one now, and this person is silent and nameless? No, they don't know his name yet. Yi Lingling's beautiful eyes also showed a strange expression. Just releasing the soul ring is enough to demonstrate the excellence of the young man in front of him. What's your name? The girl took the initiative to speak. She has a cold personality and is usually unknown, but it won't be underestimated. After all, she has the existence of the 9-hearted begonia. Yi Lingling personally spoke up to inquire, which made Oslo, who had some thoughts about Yi Lingling, a bit sour. My name is Lin Fan, the young man said. Everyone reminisced about the name, but couldn't find anything related from their memory. Lin Fan. It seems like someone from Shrek Academy. I followed Tang San and the others to Kendo Royal Academy before. Tianheng suddenly thought of something. Of course, this is just a name. After all, there is suddenly one more 7 monsters, so we should naturally pay attention. As a defeated subordinate of the 7 monsters, Tianheng maintains a serious attitude towards the team. Do you know me? Lin Fan was somewhat surprised. I've heard this name before, why did you come here, said Tianheng. He is no longer as arrogant as before. He was aware of the strictness of Shrek Academy, and at that time, he could stand with the 7 monsters, so he naturally had some skills. Now that he has seen the opponent's soul ring and soul power, he can be considered convinced. As for the previous duel, he is too embarrassed to mention it again, just like farting. I haven't played a single game since the competition, so I dropped out of school, Lin Fan said briefly. As soon as these words were spoken, Tianheng and others fell into silence. Looking back on Shrek's game against the 7 devils, it seems that they were all done by the 7 devils themselves, and there were also bench appearances. However, Lin Fan has never appeared before. If he does, with his abilities, he will definitely be quickly discovered. It turns out that he received unfair treatment there. It's not a big deal for the 7 monsters to be amazed by each other, but Brother Lin is also very impressive. Unfortunately, our overall strength is not as good as that kamikaze team, Oslo said. Don't worry, listen to my commands from now on. Just being divine is nothing, Lin Fan said. Less inclination. All members of the Imperial Do squad are here. Zhuge Yan, brothers of the Xue family. There are 8 people now. It's time to abandon one. After weighing the pros and cons, Oslo became an abandoned son. Originally, Lin Fan said to let Tianheng go. But Oslo expressed his willingness to withdraw, which is why he gave Tianheng the opportunity to continue staying. As for the duel that Tianheng mentioned at the beginning, he hesitated. The current Tianheng only has level 42 soul power. Although he has the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul, he still lacks that confidence. Fight with a soul master whose martial soul is a sword, unless his soul power is not much different from it. The gap is a full 4 levels, and he doesn't want to embarrass himself at all. Starting today, I will be your captain. I will play and cooperate today, preparing for the game in 5 days, Lin Fan ordered. After everyone agreed, it was time for boring training. Lin Fan is at least someone who has fought soul battles, so the command of the team naturally understands. Plus, having read the original work and being familiar with their intelligence, this team quickly became familiar with it after a day of adjustment. The training is over, why don't Brother Lin come and play with me tonight? Tianheng smiled. What are you going to do? Lin Fan had some doubts. Of course it's Gul and Tink. Why, you've been to Shrek before, haven't you been there with Ma Hongjun? He took me into the pit back then, Tianheng chuckled. Forget it. Lin Fan shook his head and looked at the panel. Today, he collected many dropped attributes. After all, Tianheng and his companions are not passers-by armor cannon fodder in the Douluo Continent, and they still have some use, but they don't drop much. The best item dropped today comes from Tianheng. Name. Thunder Element Fragments, collect all 3 to synthesize thunder elements, as for the rest, it's average, with several drops in soul power at level 0.1, a few drops in spiritual attributes, and a soul ring lifespan of 1 or 2 years. This is the gap between the supporting role and the main role. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Angry Spit Jade Xiaogang and Frand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Angry Spit Jade Xiaogang and Frand. Early in the morning, Lin Fan was summoned by Qianren Xue. In the familiar office, Qianren Xue played with the Zhuge divine crossbow in his hand, quite satisfied with it. Seeing Lin Fan appear, a refined smile appeared on her face. Lin Fan looked at the face of the crown prince, but in comparison, he still wanted to see Qianren Xue as he was. I don't know what difference there will be compared to anime. But it must be breathtaking and beautiful. I started building it the day before yesterday afternoon, and now I have successfully made one. How about the quality? Qianren Xue angrily handed Zhuge over. Lin Fan picked up several targets that had already been prepared in the office and shot them a few times. At present, the materials here are almost the same. As long as you can master the assembly skills, it is not that difficult. Lin Fan played with it and felt that it was no different from the Zhuge divine crossbow that Tang San lent him to play with before. By the way, this thing must have its own name, characteristics, or logo, right? Qianren Xue suddenly said. Just leave your own style to the craftsman, add it in irrelevant areas, or they can make improvements. But as for the name, I've already thought of it. As for the logo, I'll use this one. Lin Fan took out a blueprint and drew a logo on it, along with the name of their version of the crossbow, Ming crossbow. Qianren Xue looked at the name and the logo with some confusion. Why use the word Ming? And what special meaning do these 3 feathered things have? There's no special meaning, I just don't want to reveal my identity, otherwise Tang San would probably hate me to death. Lin Fan smiled. Qianren Xue is quite satisfied with this answer. Of course, the reason why Lin Fan called him that and this feather logo was to make the little rascal feel a bit panicked. Make him daydream about something. For example, sleeping slots, there are travelers like me. As for doubting himself, Tang San probably wouldn't even believe that he could imitate the Zhuge crossbow. After all, I have never shown any forging skills. As for Zhuge's divine crossbow, he has used it to strike birds a few times. Okay, it's up to you. You have made great contributions since you first arrived. I have decided to reward you with 100,000 gold coins and help you search for a soul bone. If it appears, I will give you priority in finding it and reward you. Qianren Xue calmly drew a big cake. The temptation of soul bones to soul masters is fatal. After all, each soul master only has a few skills, and an additional soul bone means an additional skill or power. Thank you very much, Your Highness the Crown Prince. Lin Fan also showed a grateful expression. He first accepted 100,000 gold coins. By the way, how are you doing on the Huangdou side? Qianren Xue asked again. Lin Fan smiled and knew that Qianren Xue was secretly sending someone to observe. Your Highness, in fact, I have hidden my true strength before. In fact, I am at level 46. Upon hearing Lin Fan confess what he wanted to know, Qianren Xue was quite satisfied in her heart. Just prepare well for the competition recently, and I'll treat you to a drink tonight, said Qianren Xue. Lin Fan agreed and then returned to the academy for training with the members of the Imperial Do team. But today, Ming appeared. Today is the third day that Lin Fan has left Shrek College. Dean, it's not good, Lin Fan has left. A woman wearing a green long skirt, fair-skinned and beautiful with long legs, rushed to Frand's office in a hurry. The girl has fair and tender skin, a relatively average figure, but has a cute and pretty face, long hair that is smooth and flowing, and round and sparkling eyes, like gemstones. She is Ning Rongrong among the Shrek 7 monsters. Upon hearing these words, Frand and Xiaogang in the office were momentarily stunned. Because the opponent in the next game was average, Xiaogang did not let the children continue to train hard and gave them a 3-day vacation. Did he really leave? Did you say where he went? Xiaogang felt a bit strange as he felt that Lin Fan's departure was related to himself. Because the other party asked him 3 times if he could play, but he rejected each time. This is what he left behind, said it was for the dean to see. Ning Rongrong took out a letter. Among Shrek College, Ning Rongrong and Lin Fan have a good relationship. Because Ning Rongrong wanted to recruit Lin Fan to the 7 Treasures Glass sect, just like his own father recruiting the 2 Douluo swords and bones. Moreover, Lin Fan is very handsome, and she is not averse to this facial control. Now she still feels a bit angry because Lin Fan left without leaving any letters for herself. Frand took the letter for himself to review. Xiaogang also leaned over to check. After reading the contents of the letter, Frand and Xiaogang's faces turned green. Crazy. Crazy kid, why didn't you see such a big complaint about us before? Frand was very angry. Ning Rongrong immediately picked up the letter that was thrown aside and looked at it, which was also somewhat unexpected. He didn't expect that the gentle Lin Fan would have such a great resentment. Old pussy, Fran, I fuck ***, you big idiot. I gave you all the money for the game and asked if you wanted to pay it back. Among the animals, the iron rooster doesn't grow a penny, and you still act like a licking dog. Lu Erlong doesn't like you for no reason. Have you ever asked yourself in all these years? And that big wet Jade little anus, I'll test your code. I'm an attack soul master with a level 41 sword martial soul, and I won't fight me in a single battle. To be honest, your theory is just garbage in a pile of garbage. Fortunately, you're just blowing around like you think you've discovered the new world. It's really funny to see it. There are no useless martial souls yet, only useless soul masters. Aren't you a useless martial soul? You can't even defeat a level 30 strong attack soul master, and as for assistance, it's useless. What else can it be if it's not useless? The letters left by Lin Fan are all a bunch of garbage. Anyway, they have to leave, and he is too lazy to take care of them. He directly offended them to death. Crazy bottom line digging. First, he mocked Frand, a big licking dog, and then he angrily cursed Xiaogang, a useless person. After reading it, Ning Rongrong was shocked and didn't expect such a gentle handsome young master to be so ruthless in his criticism. Damn it, where have you been? If you want to come out and find me, I can let you go to the 7 Treasures Glass sect, stinky Lin Fan. Ning Rongrong was also a bit unhappy in her heart. She didn't see that Lin Fan had so many negative emotions in his heart at all. If she had noticed it earlier, perhaps she would have gone straight to win over and the other person would be her own in the future. In the future, when I become the sect leader, I believe that Lin Fan, who has innate full soul power, can at least cultivate to the level of soul Douluo and be titled Douluo. You can also think about it. I will also be considered a confidant by then. Isn't this bastard just 9,000 gold soul coins? As for robbing me of my bottom. Fran's face turned red with anger. Yu Xiaojiang's face looks even worse. Just yesterday, Lu Erlong talked to him about some things, such as asking Lin Fan to play a few games and encouraging them to communicate more with young people. Yu Xiaojiang finally agreed. He had planned to notify the other party tomorrow, but he didn't expect to come over today and see such insulting words, which made his face turn green with anger. Damn it! Yu Xiaojiang also drank angrily. Ning Rongrong left wisely, but this letter was burned by Yu Xiaojiang and Frand, which contained information about their bottom line that could not be revealed. That's about Lin Fan mocking the love triangle between Yu Xiaojiang and Frand de Lu Erlong. Blaming Yu Xiaojiang for being childless, having a lecherous heart but not a lecherous courage, and cursing Frand for being only a licking dog in this life. Even Lin Fan mocked Frand for thinking, "Xiaojiang, please be gentle, I feel sorry." End of this chapter. Chapter 5 Qin Ming's Shock. Xiaoxue drops the ultimate attribute, seeking pursuit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Qin Ming's Shock. Xiaoxue drops the ultimate attribute, seeking follow-ups and recommended tickets. I didn't expect that guy to be so naughty, I really can't tell. Just now, the dean and master were so angry with those words that their faces turned green. Ning Rongrong walked out of the office and Lin Fan's handsome face appeared in his heart. Then she thought of the master and Fran, feeling incredibly happy in their hearts. As a little witch, she finds this kind of thing very amusing. Just as Ning Rongrong was preparing to tell his friends about Lin Fan's departure, she saw teacher Qin Ming walking over. Qin Ming, originally a senior teacher at Tianheng Royal College, came to Shrek College a few months ago due to a conflict with them. However, Qin Ming occasionally goes back to see the children of the Imperial Do Squad. After all, these children were taught by him. It's not long before the next game, and Qin Ming still wants to see the Imperial Do team fight against the Kamikaze Academy with all their might. So in the morning, he went to the Royal Academy to encourage those children. But after only a few hours, he was shocked by someone. Teacher Qin Ming, Ning Rongrong obediently greeted. Qin Ming nodded slightly and didn't say much, but Ning Rongrong spoke up, "Teacher, one of us has left, named Lin Fan. You should have an impression, right?" As soon as these words were spoken, Qin Ming suddenly became calm. "Rongrong, do you know why he wants to leave?" Qin Ming suddenly came to his senses. Because he had also inquired about this matter when he saw Lin Fan before, but Lin Fan asked him to come and ask Frand and Yu Xiaojiang. "I just found out that he has a deep grudge against the dean and master." Ning Rongrong then recounted what had happened before. Of course, she did not mention the content of Lin Fan's angry remarks about the dean and master in the letter, but only mentioned the reason for Lin Fan's departure. "So it's like this, oh, we really missed 1 billion. Qin Ming pounded his chest and feet, feeling very regretful when he learned the whole story. "What happened? Did you see Fan Gu?" Ning Rongrong was puzzled. Qin Ming nodded, and then he recounted his morning events. "This morning, I went to find the children of Tianheng. I wanted them not to surrender just because they encountered the Divine Wind Squad. I wanted them to fight with all their might, which is also valuable combat experience. But I saw Lin Fan." As soon as these words were spoken, Ning Rongrong's beautiful eyes immediately froze. "I didn't expect him to go to the Imperial Do Squad." "No, he said he defected to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. It was the snow-clear river you saw before that the Crown Prince arranged for him to go there." "Rongrong, you don't know what we missed. His soul power has reached level 46. Qin Ming said seriously. As soon as these words were spoken, Ning Rongrong was even more shocked. Because she remembers that Lin Fan was at level 41 before, and they only took the 4th soul ring together. How come he has only been on vacation for 3 days and has been promoted by a full 5 levels? Not only that, but I don't know what happened. His 4th soul ring has reached the level of 10,000 years, which is good. Just like Xiao San, his fourth soul ring is 10,000 years old. Although it was still 1,000 years ago, today I saw his fourth soul ring turn into 10,000 years. It's really a strange thing. Qin Ming said in his heart. Ning Rongrong was also confused. Now he finally knows why Qin Ming said he missed 1 billion things before. The key is that the age of the soul ring has changed. This is a situation she has never heard of before. I don't know if we can still let him come over. If the master hadn't suppressed him before, if he participated together, he might have been able to reach the semi-finals, Qin Ming said. Ning Rongrong's heart was pounding with excitement. She has always wanted to win over Lin Fan, as she has mentioned before, but Lin Fan only said he is considering it. And she's also not good at making any promises. Now that Lin Fan is so outstanding, she can talk to her father Ning Fengji about this person and believe that Ning Fengji can give good promises and rewards. Alas, if I had been more proactive before, Fan Gu would definitely be a member of my Seven Treasures Glass sect. Ning Rongrong felt a little regretful in his heart, knowing that he was no longer reserved. Such talents should be recruited to the greatest extent possible. Now that they have been playing with the Crown Prince, it may be difficult for them to compete with him. Teacher Qin Ming, why don't you come back tonight to find the Master and Dean? Ning Rongrong saw that Qin Ming was about to head towards the office and immediately thought of the previous scene, so he quickly spoke up. Why? Qin Ming was puzzled. Because Fan Gu left a letter before leaving, harshly cursing the Master and Dean, and now the Dean is still angry, said Ning Rongrong. Isn't it just a few insults? I think the Dean sometimes scolds too, and students are greedy for money. Qin Ming smiled and thought it was not a big deal. Ning Rongrong wanted to say something, but he didn't dare to say it. She had no choice but to watch Qin Ming enter the office. She activated her little witch attribute and was curious about what would happen, so she secretly followed and prepared to listen to what was happening inside later. Less inclination. A roaring sound came from the office. It's just a slight advantage. There's no need to invite someone back. He can just leave. I won't lose to him when I train the third party. Yu Xiaogang shouted angrily. This. Qin Ming looked at the angry master and thought of what Ning Rongrong had said before. Frand leaned back in the chair without saying a word, but he could see some anger and regret in his eyes. What exactly did Lin Fan curse at? How could they be so silent? If it's just some small matters, I believe they will still be reasonable. After all, this is a talent. It's a pity to leave Shrek College like this, Qin Ming muttered to himself. Qin Ming, you don't have to worry about this matter. I will consider it carefully, said Frand. Kendo Royal Academy. Today's training is over. Lin Fan is going to drink with Qianren Xue. Tianheng still came to invite him to play, but he refused. Lin Fan, are you working for the Crown Prince now? Yi Lingling followed Lin Fan out of the academy, and she was on her way home. Lin Fan glanced at the beautiful woman beside him and nodded slightly. Why did you leave Shrek College? Yi Lingling continued to ask, her eyes blinking without blinking, very charming. Why, are you so curious about me? Let's make an appointment another day. I'll talk to you about it tonight. Lin Fan said with a smile as he saw that the little girl was quite curious about him. Sure, why don't I invite you to my house for dinner tomorrow? The girl nodded slightly and said seriously. Lin Fan was a bit puzzled, but still nodded, indicating that he would make an appointment tomorrow night. Come to the private bar room reserved by Qianren Xue. Lin Fan looked at the fine wine and food on the table without any courtesy. While eating, he was paying attention to the light balls falling beside Qianren Xue. Lin Fan argued with him while using his mind to bring those light balls to his side. The ultimate attribute, Sun Fire, dropped from the excitement of Qianren Snow. The ordinary attribute from the drop of Qianren Snow, 100-year soul ring. Qianren Xue's mood is quite good. In half an hour, he dropped 10 attributes. The most outstanding of them is the Fire of the Sun. Name: Fire of the Sun. Details: the angel god utilizes the flame generated by the sun to refine and condense the fire of the sun with the power of the sun. I'll go, it's really top-notch. Lin Fan's drunkenness dissipated instantly after reading the panel. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Battle with Feng Xiaotian. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Battle with Feng Xiaotian. A few days passed by in a flash. The mainland elite soul master competition, the Kendo division, and the promotion race have begun. Today is considered the second time we have advanced to the competition. The Imperial Dou Empire spent a lot of luck in qualifying matches, and also advanced to the first round. Now for the second round of promotion, I have also encountered a heavyweight player. Originally, the team members didn't have much confidence, but in the recent adjustment, they felt that they might not be able to defeat the Kamikaze Academy. As long as the monster Lin Fan of Feng Xiaotian can be defeated, they still have hope of victory. With the encouragement of Qin Ming a few days ago, the current Imperial Dou team can be said to be full of morale. In the Tian Dou competition area, advancing to the next round, the first match, Emperor Dou team vs Kamikaze team. On the Dou Hun stage, the referee announced the list of participants for this competition. At this point, the surrounding area of the competition field is already full of seats. Many people have already received internal information, which is not surprising. The Shenfeng team is too strong, especially the demon Feng Xiaotian, who is naturally full of soul power and has created his own soul skills. In the previous qualifiers, he shone brightly alone and defeated many teams. The Kamikaze Squadron and the Imperial Dou Squadron are both old acquaintances. No need to introduce, everyone will know its configuration. Now the contestants are standing on both sides of the arena, looking at each other. However, the referee did not leave, but instead gave a customary introduction with a script. Captain of the Imperial Dou Squad, Lin Fan, level 46 Soul Master, Martial Soul Sword. Deputy Captain, Tianheng, level 42 War Soul Master, Martial Soul Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex. After the introduction, many people were stunned for a moment. What's going on? The captain of the Imperial Dou Squad has been replaced. Lin Fan. With level 46 soul power, who is this? I've never heard of it before. Martial Soul is a powerful sword with a soul power of 46 levels, even more powerful than Feng Xiaotian at 44 levels. It seems that there is still a chance to win in the Imperial battle this time. Not necessarily, except for Tianheng, the other members of the Imperial Dou Squad are still in their 30s, while the Shenfeng Squad has a total of 40 members. You forgot about the Shrek team, they only had a few level 40s, but with a few level 30s, they still won over all the level 40s. People were discussing and turning their attention to the new member. On a certain audience seat. Shrek and the 7 monsters have all received news, and now seeing this situation, their expressions are also somewhat complicated. Unfortunately, Fan Ge still has the strength. Why did he leave? Didn't the master say not to rush before? If he hadn't left, this battle would have been his debut, Ma Hongjun said. Among the Shrek's 7 monsters, there are only 2 people who have a cold relationship with Lin Fan, one is Gao Ling Zhu Zhuqing and the other is Oscar. Zhu Zhuqing's relationship is cold because of his aloofness, while Oscar regards Lin Fan as a rival in love, resulting in a cold relationship. Tang San's relationship is usually just an ordinary friend, and the relationship between Xiao Wu and Lin Fan is also average to outsiders. Ning Rongrong and Dai Mubai both want to win over Lin Fan, and Ma Hongjun really thinks that Lin Fan is a good friend worth making. When hunting souls, Lin Fan helped him a lot. Eager for quick success and instant benefits, this kind of person will never achieve anything in their lifetime. Seeing Lin Fan's handsome face, Xiaogang thought of the heart-piercing words. That person said he had no seed, had a lustful heart but no courage, which can be said to have broken his defense. As for the theory, Xiaogang is very confident, and there is no need for someone without vision to admit it. This is all due to his years of cultivation in the spirit of a Gue, thinking that others lack vision and cannot understand the strength of his theory. Upon hearing Xiaogang's words, Tang San only glanced at him, feeling a bit puzzled. He didn't know why the relationship between the teacher and Lin Fan was so bad. "Xiao Wu, what's wrong with you? It seems like you're not very happy." Tang San noticed the girl next to him, who was in a somewhat bad state. "Nothing. Nothing." Xiao Wu shook her head repeatedly, feeling a bit afraid that Tang San would see the secret. On the arena, the soul battle began. Feng Xiaotian, who originally had a relaxed expression, now showed a serious expression. He unleashed his martial soul, the two-headed wolf of the fast wind. 4 soul rings appeared on his body, 2 yellow and 2 purple. Lin Fan looked at the smiling and charming scene across from him and thought of the plot of the original work. In the original work, Feng Xiaotian saw the fire dance of the Blaze Academy kissing Tang San, so he became jealous and fought against Tang San alone. In the end, he was naturally slapped in the face. As for his team members, they don't have any role to play. However, Feng Xiaotian is also a well-designed character, and Lin Fan believes that beating him up should be enough to obtain many treasures. Following the previous plan, I will handle Feng Xiaotian and you will be responsible for restraining his other team members, Lin Fan said. Don't worry, we absolutely won't let those little Karami stop Fan's battle, Tianheng said seriously, instantly activating his martial soul. His hands turned into Tyrannosaurus Rex claws, and there was a slight arc jumping on his body. Soul fighting, start. With the referee's command. Lin Fan rushed out first. He also had a long sword in his hand, which was 4 feet long and snow-white all over. The sword tan on the hilt was quite peculiar, resembling a dragon head, giving the overall appearance of a dragon spitting out its blade. It looks a bit handsome, but the aura is average. Feng Xiaotian suddenly saw that Lin Fan was coming towards him, and he knew that the other party wanted to fight against him. However, he couldn't lose this battle. He also had to fight Shrek and didn't want to fight against him alone. He decisively instructed the 2 assistants around him to prepare to use their skills and want to surround Lin Fan. However, at this moment, other members of the Imperial Dou team were also not idle. Dugu Yen uses his soul skill to release the blue scale snake venom. A large toxic mist diffused away. In this situation, everyone can only disperse and retreat. And the battlefield is also divided. Without hesitation, Tianheng followed Lin Fan's side and prepared to share the firepower with him later. He took one step and killed the 2 level 41 sensitive attack soul masters next to Feng Xiaotian. Oh, you really think you can take me on so much if you want to fight me alone? Feng Xiaotian was surprised, but he didn't expect the members of the Imperial Dou squad to cooperate so well. Even the 2 defensive soul masters, the Shi brothers, gave up passive defense and launched a charge. It seems that the Huangdou team's playing style is very radical. Do you think they would choose passive defense? Someone said. After watching so many games, I can see that Lin Fan is very confident. He wants to quickly solve Feng Xiaotian and then go support his teammates. Not bad, in this battle, Lin Fan is the key. If he is restrained, according to the quality of the members of the Imperial Dou squad, he will definitely not be able to resist those members of the Divine Wind squad. It is rumored that Feng Xiaotian has his own soul skill, and Lin Fan is indeed a bit confident. Although his soul power can crush Feng Xiaotian at 2 levels, his sword attack power is not so fierce, and Feng Xiaotian's wind blade is not inferior to the sword. This time they will lose. Tang Sanli immediately began to analyze and expressed his own judgment. Lin Fan still knows well and has good strength. Originally, he wanted the other party to be his little brother, just like Ma Hongjun and the others. However, he found that this person was somewhat ambitious and liked to show off. In previous competitions, he didn't often listen to his commands and wanted to perform more. Although Tang San successfully pretended to be coerced by the other party, he felt uncomfortable in his heart. Such people around him would only steal his limelight. He played a big game for Lin Fan several times without making a move in soul fighting. Of course, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that he discovered some unknown secrets between this person and his dear sister Xiaowu. On weekdays, he doesn't say anything, but with purple extreme magic eyes, he can still see that sometimes Xiaowu is secretly flirting with that guy. I asked Xiaowu myself, but the other person didn't say anything. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Ing Tian's sword, 36 consecutive slashes in a fast wind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Ing Tian's sword, 36 consecutive slashes in a fast wind. Since you want to fight alone, I'll show you the strength of my martial soul. Feng Xiaotian shouted. His martial soul is the wind double-headed wolf, a mutated martial soul with medium to high quality, close to the top level. The first soul skill, wind blade formation. Feng Xiaotian waved his hands towards the front and instantly unleashed 10 green blades of the wind. These 10 wind blades are not for attacking, but to block Lin Fan's retreat. He himself also welcomed him head on. The second soul skill, wind wolf possession. The second soul ring on his body flickered, and a blue wolf head appeared on Feng Xiaotian's shoulders. In the state of the second soul skill, his wind blade attack, defense, and speed can all be increased by 50%. He swiped his hands towards the front and 2 wind blades slashed away. At this point, Lin Fan was unable to retreat, but he also had no intention of retreating. The third soul skill, smooth sword. Lin Fan infused his soul power into his dragon-slaying sword. There were no fancy attacks. It's just a smooth cut. A sword swung away, and the wind blade attacked by Feng Xiaotian instantly shattered and disintegrated. He continued to wave his hands 3 meters away from Lin Fan. A series of wind blade attacks followed, welcoming them away. I see how much you can block. Feng Xiaotian snorted. Lin Fan immediately saw dozens or 20 wind blades in front of him. And his smooth sword just now only shattered 2 sword energies. But this is not over yet. Slash. Smooth sword phase 2 release. After the previous sword strike, the remaining strength turned into countless sword energies and exploded in place. Countless sword energies spread out, shattering all the more than 20 wind blades that Feng Xiaotian had struck. What, there's such an effect. It's just a loss of no intelligence. Feng Xiaotian was surprised in his heart, but quickly encouraged himself. More than 20 wind blades were shattered, and Lin Fan walked away quickly. The first soul skill, welcome spring with a slash. The long sword in his hand turned direction, and soul power poured into it. He held the sword back in his hand, as if holding a dagger. The second soul skill, step on the sword and walk. At the same time as using his first soul skill, his second soul skill is also released. A sword condensed under his feet and flew over with him. The speed exploded and caught up with Feng Xiaotian in just a few seconds. Surprisingly, it can fly. No, it's just floating, not very high. Feng Xiaotian analyzed. The third soul skill, the wings of the fast wind. A pair of blue wings appeared behind Feng Xiaotian, who took off from the ground 10 meters away immediately. At the same time, wave your arms again. One wind blade after another struck as his palm passed by. Swish, swish. The wind blade hit the ground, but Lin Fan did not dodge. With a slash, Ying greeted the sky. Bang! All those wind blades were shattered, different from the third soul skill. The green sword energy that was cut out still existed, facing Feng Xiaotian 10 meters away after all. Surprisingly, there is still so much energy left. Feng Xiaotian was surprised. The fourth soul skill, Storm Dance. Feng Xiaotian's fingers parted together, his soul power mobilized, and he swung heavily. A total of 6 unique wind blades were struck from 6 fingers. The howling wind was raging, colliding with the green sword energy. Boom! Another loud bang. The 6 wind blades finally managed to force the green sword energy to a stop. Feng Xiaotian quickly moved in the void, teleporting to a location and unleashing the wind blade attack again. This time he didn't hide anymore. At this moment, Feng Xiaotian's wings behind him had already integrated into his arms. You can see a brilliant blue light on your arms. Feng Xiaotian is accelerating, and this move is driven by speed. Every attack will become stronger and stronger. A stacking mechanism similar to the random cloak hammer method. The audience looked at this scene with a surprised expression. At the beginning of a few rounds of fighting, Feng Xiaotian was forced to use his self-created soul technique. That Lin Fan has something to do. Yeah, 3 soul skills have been revealed from the beginning until now. It's worth mentioning that his first soul skill seems to be even stronger than his third soul skill, and he can now wield the sword. Master, this son indeed has something. At the VIP table, Qianren Xue remained calm and composed, his eyes fixed on Lin Fan, who was constantly resisting the attacks of the wind blade, like a sharp sword. Unfortunately, he has already defected to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, but there is still an opportunity for contact, Ming said, although his words were somewhat regretful, his face remained calm. His attack is much more powerful than when we fought together before, and his third sword actually has a second effect that has never been shown before. Tang San became somewhat solemn in a certain audience. He spoke too quickly before. He thought that what Lin Fan had revealed was all the means, but to his surprise, there was still hiding. It's too early to say, now Lin Fan has a 70% chance of winning. Not only that, Lin Fan's swordsmanship speed has also been faster than before. How did he achieve a continuous promotion of 5 levels? Did he also eat immortal grass? Tang San approached and Dai Mubai said. As the Prince of Xinglua, he needs to gather some manpower, and Lin Fan and Tang San are both under his care. Tang San's words have been settled. As for their relationship, Dai Mubai believes that if he needs help from the other party in the future, Xiao San will agree. But Lin Fan is not very familiar with him yet. I'm not sure, maybe he got immortal grass after joining His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Tang San speculated. Of course, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is how his soul ring changed its age. Zhu Zhuqing, who didn't like to get involved in discussions with others, looked at Lin Fan with her beautiful eyes shining brightly at this moment. This is the place she is most curious about. How could anyone possibly change the age of their soul ring based on the intelligence they know? This is something I have never seen before. On the arena, Feng Xiaotian's continuous slashes have reached over 20 times. The strength of the current wind blade is more than a little stronger than before. Of course, everyone also noticed that Feng Xiaotian's face was becoming increasingly fierce and pale. Under such high-speed movement, there is a great burden on his physical body. 36 consecutive cuts. The strong wind howled. Faced with all of this, Lin Fan just calmly responded. The power of the wind blade is somewhat good, but it can be dodged. At this moment, the final combo erupted, and he was no longer prepared to dodge. The fourth sword, Ying Tian's sword. All his remaining soul power was infused into it, and with one sword he cut out a terrifying shadow, as if the sound of a dragon's roar was tearing apart in the void. The strong wind of Feng Xiaotian can no longer be suppressed. A towering sword chi carrying a rolling torrent falls down, stretching for 10 meters, and the dragon's roar shakes the sky. The sharp sword energy instantly made one's face change. Even Qianxin, who was at the VIP table, suddenly stood up. The sword energy cut out by Tian's sword is a full 10 meters. With one sword falling, the 30.6 consecutive slashes directly disintegrated and collapsed, leaving only the remaining strength to smirk the wind flying in the sky. With a soft thud. Feng Xiaotian also used a wind blade to block it for a while, otherwise the consequences would be very serious. A huge opening appeared on Feng Xiaotian's chest, with blood splattering down. He was carried away by the sword aura and flew out directly. The Eternal Soul Ring has indeed increased my strength quite a bit, Lin Fan thought with some surprise. Okay. At the VIP table, on the edge of the snowy night, he quietly looked at the silent Xueching River, which was also known as Qianren Xue. He immediately said heartily and stood up, applauding slightly. I didn't expect this guy to be even more powerful than I imagined. He has a lot of talent. Although he couldn't win over Tang San, he wouldn't be worse or even better than that Tang San. He really found a treasure. Qianren Xue was pleasantly surprised. As a soul master, Lin Fan's fourth soul skill was even more impressive than he had imagined. In a place she couldn't notice, a tribute light ball silently flew towards the arena. Lin Fan calmly put away the attributes that were dropped due to attacking Feng Xiaotian. He didn't have time to look at those treasures and turned his gaze to other directions. Only 5 or 6 minutes have passed since the start of the war. At this point, in other places, Tianheng's suppression was clearly insufficient. The Imperial Dou team is entering a disadvantage. Captain. However, at this moment, seeing Feng Xiaotian being knocked out of the arena and disqualified, the people in the Divine Wind team all stared wide. Previously, they were all serious about dealing with members of the Imperial Dou team and didn't dare to be distracted. Now they have a chance to take a look, but I didn't expect the captain to be defeated like this. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Harvest 3 Top Quality Attributes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Harvest 3 Top Quality Attributes. In the audience, people looked at Feng Xiaotian lying on the ground like a dead dog, their faces slightly frozen. At this moment, many people are still immersed in the blow they just made. Is a powerful sword energy close to 10 meters the damage that level 40 Soul Sect can deal? His Eternal Soul Ring is truly terrifying, surpassing some Soul Emperor's skills in the Wind Sword Sect. This posture is indeed very impressive, but I think it's not just an ordinary sword spirit. Maybe it's as special as the 7-kill Sword of Sword Douluo. Led by him, the Imperial Dou squadron is likely to be able to touch Shrek once they encounter him. Great, I won the bet. Although Feng Xiaotian has his own soul skills, he can't even compete with that 10,000-year soul ring. Fortunately, he hasn't pressed too many gold coins. People are discussing things one after another, some are discussing the war situation, while others only care about their own gambling. Above the arena. After dealing with Feng Xiaotian, Lin Fan immediately went to support his teammates. Although his soul power was only 1/20th at this time, he still had some foundation in swordsmanship. Afterwards, together with Tianheng and others, it took 5 minutes to defeat all the other members of the kamikaze team. The first game of today has come to an end. In the first round of promotion, the Imperial Dou team won, with a 30-minute half-time. The next game is Shrek Academy vs Thunder Academy, the referee said loudly. The discussion among the audience, the division of money, the opening of the market, is still lively in the venue. A certain audience seat, the area where the Shrek team is located. At this moment, Xiaogan's face looked a bit unattractive. Moreover, the expressions of the other members changed. This guy has only dropped out of school for a few days, why is he so strong? And how did his soul ring lifespan improve? Xiaogang was very curious about this question. Did he eat immortal grass? Anyway, let's go ask him. Xiaogang thought of what Lin Fan had been angry about before. After thinking about it, he thought that if he could explore the secret of soul ring enhancement, wouldn't it be just a scolding? What can that be considered? Ladies and gentlemen, don't worry either. Although Lin Fan is powerful, we have fought against other members of the Imperial Do team before. As long as we cooperate well, Lin Fan's tactics today will not be useful to us, Tang San said seriously. Yes, it was Zhuge Yan who used poison to separate the battlefield before. We can crack Zhuge Yan's poison, but it's not that easy for them to separate the battlefield, Oscar said. Upon hearing Tang San's words, Dai Mubai also perked up. To be honest, just now when he saw Lin Fan's terrifying sword, he felt that if he were to confront him, it would be like Feng Xiaotian's fate. Unfortunately, we didn't try to win over before. Dai Mubai felt a bit regretful in his heart. He had been thinking about Tang San before, and for Lin Fan, he was just trying to tentatively woo him. If we had maintained a good relationship before, we wouldn't have seen the other party just go to the Kendo Royal Academy like this. Where's Renxue? Oscar saw his little princess missing and immediately looked around. Renxue said she needs to leave for a while and come back soon, Xiaowu said. At the VIP table, Renxue also came to find his father. Renxue, you will be on the stage soon. Why are you still here? Qianren Xue looked at the little girl and said in confusion. Ning Fengji did see some signs. I know who he has joined, and it's not enough to try to win over, but he can still be friends, Ning Fengji said. The person who tried to win over Lin Fan was his disciple Xue. Even Ning Fengji couldn't compete with the crown prince. Upon hearing these words, Renxue's face suddenly collapsed. At this point, her thoughts were the same as those of Dai Mubai, but she made deeper progress than Dai Mubai. The battle is over. The members of the Imperial Do team who returned to their seats all showed excited smiles. To be honest, they had no confidence in defeating the kamikaze team before. But they have also done their best. I didn't expect the battle to be even easier than they imagined. Mainly because Lin Fan is powerful enough to defeat Feng Xiaotian, who possesses his own soul skill, within 5 minutes, which is truly surprising. By the way, where's our brother Fan? They rested for a while before noticing clearly that Lin Fan had not come to find them. He said he went to the restroom, Yi Lingling said. After the game was over, she saw Lin Fan leave and also asked. Outside the venue. Lin Fan sat on a chair, checking all the attributes he had obtained from his previous battle. He doesn't mean to collect attributes by reaching out and picking them up himself. With just one thought, attributes that fall from a radius of 100 meters will be sucked in by him. There are many big shots present today, and he saw Ning Fengji and them. Ning Fengji is also considered an important character in this book. Sword Bone Douluo, not to mention, has helped Tang San a lot. Lin Fan can get a lot of attributes from Old Jack, not to mention these 3 important figures. View the panel, listing attributes one by one. Lin Fan integrated it and found that the soul power he gained has a total of 5 levels, and the soul ring has a lifespan of 800 years. The rest are special items. The ultimate attribute dropped from the shock of Qianxin, Qianxin's 90-year understanding of swordsmanship, the top-notch attribute dropped from Tang San's shock, the inheritance of Tang's sex hidden weapon technique, Bodhi blood. From the prefecture-level attribute that Yu Xiaogang dropped out of regret, he has obtained the essence of the top 10 theories of Wulin, a top-notch treasure dropped from the excitement of Qianren Xue, a piece of Mother of Sun gold, the excellent attribute dropped from Douluo Bo's excitement, blue scale snake venom. Having looked at these important items, Lin Fan's eyes lit up. Firstly, Qianxin's 90-year understanding of swordsmanship will definitely enable him to quickly improve his swordsmanship. Secondly, there is the Tang clan's hidden weapon technique. In fact, rather than saying it is a hidden weapon technique, it is more like the martial arts of the 18 dragons subduing palms, because it requires powerful internal power to activate, and of course, when entering the Douluo world, it requires soul power to activate. In the original work, Tang San used Bodhi blood to kill the deep-sea demon whale king, which was also achieved through a level 90 soul power. As for the garbage dropped from Euxianus, he ignored it directly. If it weren't for the system's lack of decomposition function, he would have thrown it away without hesitation. As for Dugubo's poison, he didn't want it. Overall, there are only 3 things that are useful. He can understand Qianren Xue's understanding of swordsmanship and Tangmen martial arts, but he is not yet clear about Sun Mother Jean. Inspired by his thoughts, Lin Fan examined the detailed properties of this material. Name: Sun Mother Gold Category. Refining Material Quality. Divine Special. A unique crystal that stores the power of the sun. The mother metal is the foundation of the vein, which can continuously influence other crystals until a vein is created. I'll go, the artifact material. I now have the sun fire of Xiaoxue, and now I have this mother metal. I'm afraid I can also refine a divine artifact at the level of an angel's holy sword in the future. Lin Fan was excited. Sure enough, it's still the best thing for Xiaoxue to drop, as it directly shows him the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Mining and absorbing the Dust Heart's Kendo insights, seeking recommended tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Mining and absorbing dust in Kendo insights, seeking recommended tickets. After checking the attributes, Lin Fan returned to the audience and greeted his comrades in the Imperial Do team, saying that he would no longer watch the game and was leaving. Brother Fan, my uncle wants to see you, Tianheng whispered as he approached Lin Fan. His uncle, upon hearing this title, Lin Fan understood that it was Xiaogang who was wet. Okay, Lin Fan said. Afterwards, he arrived at a certain place and saw Xiaogang waiting for him. Xiaofan, I was wrong with you before and shouldn't have suppressed your brilliance. Just as we met, Xiaogang apologized directly. Lin Fan was a bit surprised to see him like this. The farewell letter he left behind was full of blood for this kid. Can you say that Xiaogang didn't see it? He shook his head slightly. These were not important. If you want me to go back, then forget it. The adult I went to was very kind to me, at least more promising than at Shrek, Lin Fan said without any courtesy to Xiaogang. That's not true, I just want to know how you increased the lifespan of your soul ring. Xiaogang's expression showed a thirst for knowledge. This matter is not easy to replicate. I ate a special plant that has been cultivated. It can be considered a type of soul beast. After eating it, I found that the lifespan of the plant soul beast had been added to my 4th soul ring, elevating it to the level of 10,000 years. Lin Fan had already thought of an excuse and said. Plant soul beasts, are you eating them like this? Xiaogang was a little skeptical. Not all plants and soul beasts have aggressiveness. The fairy grass that Tang San took before, although said to be in the mature stage, should actually have cultivation. Lin Fan said. Upon hearing this explanation, Xiaogang didn't ask any further and rubbed his chin, pondering the feasibility of what Lin Fan had said. Lin Fan didn't say anything more. He knew that Xiaogang would try the experiment on his own. Xiao Wusan is going to suffer a bit, or rather someone else, Lin Fan thought to himself. Xiaogang did not give Tang San any wrong guidance. Blue-silver grass is more suitable for the life field, and as a result, it was transformed into a control system by Xiaogang. Also, at the beginning, Tang San was deceived by Xiaogang to absorb the 99-year soul beast. If it weren't for his past life memories, perhaps their master and disciple had already been annihilated by the 300-year-old mandala snake. After giving Xiaogang the wrong guidance, Lin Fan left. A few hours later, today's game also came to a successful end. There are a total of 4 teams advancing. Huangdou Squadron, Shrek Squadron, Botanical Academy, Warcraft Academy. 7 days later, these 4 teams will have their final battle, selecting 2 teams and then going to the finals held in Wuhuan City with the recommended team from Kendo Royal Academy. The smiles on the faces of the members of tonight's celebration banquet of the Imperial Battle Team never disappeared. Seeing Lin Fan, the biggest hero of this time, he quickly leaned in and praised him very much, completely different from before. His Highness the Crown Prince has also come today. They cannot know in advance who the opponent is this time, as the game will be drawn on site 7 days later. I hope we don't encounter Shrek Academy this time. If we don't, we'll be stable. Upon hearing the Crown Prince's internal news, Tianheng spoke with a pleading expression. Even if we encounter Shrek, what would happen? With Fan Gu here, we can definitely win. Fan Gu, you must help me stand out. Zhuge Yan also leaned in and said with a smile. The conflict between you and Tang San has not been resolved yet. Lin Fan was somewhat surprised. She remembered that Tang San seemed to have already started helping Zhuge Yan suppress toxins. It's not as annoying as before, but don't you want to slap those people who force you to leave? Or is it a bit difficult to get started? I remember there were 3 great beauties at Shrek Academy. Zhuge Yan's iconic oval face was teasing. Hee, that's not enough. If I really encounter it, I will do my best, Lin Fan said. When it comes to the beauty, we are not bad at Huangdou. Ling doesn't have a boyfriend yet. Tianheng immediately came over to assist. Listening to the laughter and cheers of everyone, Lin Fan easily handled it. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 flavors of food. Lin Fan had been to Yi Lingling's house before, and her parents welcomed him very much. After seeing her home, Lin Fan went to find Qianren Xue. You did a good job today. Your 4th soul skill really amazed the whole audience. Can you tell me how your soul ring changed its year? Of course, if you don't want to say anything, it's okay. Everyone has some secrets, said Qianren Xue. It's not a big secret either, Lin Fan told Qianren Xue the explanation that misled Xiaogang. Listening to this novel incident, Qianren Xue was also a bit surprised. What reward do you want this time, said Qianren Xue. Although Lin Fan hasn't been with her for long, he has done a lot for her, and the Zhuge crossbow alone deserves a great reward. Now, the Imperial Do team from the Kendo Royal Academy has advanced to the final qualifying round. It's just that Qianren Xue was worried about not being able to hold on to this person's heart last time. Lin Fan didn't rush to speak, so he listened to Qianren Xue. My teacher Ning Fengji said something before. He said he could have Douluo play a coaching match with you. I believe you also know Douluo's swordsmanship skills, and I believe it will be of great help to you. Qianren Xue said. That's not necessary. But if you really have what you want, how about your highness give me a mind vein? Why do you want this? Qianren Xue was puzzled. Didn't I say before that I wanted to create something good? Sure. Qianren Xue thought of what the other party had mentioned before and decisively agreed. Now you still need to focus on cultivation, and these things can be studied slowly later, she said, worried that Lin Fan had invested a lot of time in places he shouldn't have invested. Don't worry, I have my own discretion on this. After bidding farewell to Qianren Xue. The next morning, after completing the cultivation of the purple extreme magic, Lin Fan went to take over his mineral veins. He asked the miners to deliver the mined iron ore to his residence in Tiando City and to the basement. Busy until evening, Lin Fan placed the Mother of the Sun gold into these iron mines. With the assimilation of Sun Mother gold, it is believed that in no time, these iron ores will also undergo more or less changes. At that time, he can almost start crafting his own treasure. After this matter was settled, the next day Lin Fan sat at home and clicked on the panel. 90 years of swordsmanship insights using the dust heart technique. With the click to use, Lin Fan instantly entered a settled state. Waves of images flooded into my mind. He seemed to have entered a spiritual space, absorbing the worldly insights of swordsmanship. In addition to his insights, he also had the use of swords. He practiced in the spiritual space for a long time, as if several days had passed. But when I woke up, I realized it was only in the afternoon. The violent knocking on the door awakened him. Brother Fan, you are really working hard. You are busy practicing during holidays, and indeed your excellence is not without reason. Lin Fan opened the door and saw a short-haired girl. She has a beautiful oval face, a tall figure, bright red lips, and is wearing a green long skirt. It's the Zhuge Yan. Zhuge Yan's temper is not very good, and she often gets angry with the people in the team. However, she still obeys the strong, so Lin Fan made her obey. But now she's Tianheng's girlfriend, isn't it a bit bad to come looking for her like this? End of this chapter. Chapter 10 Avalanche. The Way to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Avalanche. The Way to Death. A shopping mall in Tianheng. Lin Fan, who had been busy for a few days, also followed Zhuge Yan and Yingling out for a walk, buying some daily necessities. Zhuge Yan came to find him, but it wasn't really a big deal. The main thing was to pull Yingling out. It seems like she wants to help match the two of them. While at a clothing store, everyone met acquaintances. They are Shrek Sanmei. At this time, the three women are also buying clothes here. It's you guys, what a coincidence. Zhuge Yan looked at the third girl with a polite smile on her face. The third woman glanced and her gaze immediately locked onto Lin Fan. Lin Fan, are you so familiar with them now? Ning Rongrong spoke, feeling a bit annoyed. Obviously, she is still angry about Lin Fan's previous farewell without saying goodbye. Hee, there is no future in Shrek, I must find another way, Lin Fan said with a faint smile. Can you take a step to speak? Ning Rongrong whispered upon hearing the words. Is there something we can't listen to? Upon hearing this, Zhuge Yan spoke directly, obviously not wanting Lin Fan to have too much involvement with these people. Lin Fan waved his hand to indicate that it was okay, and then he and Ning Rongrong came to the side, listening to her put the pressure aside. Ning Rongrong mainly said that Ning Fengji wants to meet him once. Our Seven Treasures Glass sect has a good relationship with the Heavenly Dou Empire, and it doesn't matter if you come. Moreover, my sword grandfather sees that your talent is good, so I can give you some advice on swordsmanship. Ning Rongrong gave a faint smile and looked at Lin Fan, feeling that he would definitely be happy about it. After all, not everyone can enjoy the guidance of Kendo Qianqin. After speaking confidently, she looked at Lin Fan and waited for his reaction. Sorry, I don't need Jian Douluo's guidance, Lin Fan firmly refused. The reason why I chose to go to Qianren Xue instead of Qibao Colored Glaze sect is that these forces are related to Tang San and they are only important supporting role. The quality of dropped treasure is definitely not as good as the protagonist or the villain. There are only two paths in front of him. Either drink soup with the main character group. Either follow the big villain and hammer the protagonist. Since Lin Fan did not enjoy brotherly treatment with the protagonist, he naturally chose to seek refuge with the big villain. Do you know what you're talking about? Ning Rongrong was not very satisfied with Lin Fan's answer. Grandpa Jian is the pinnacle of swordsmanship today. Do you know how many people want him to guide them? Ning Rongrong looked at Lin Fan with anger. Miss, don't think anyone needs to kneel and lick your Seven Treasures Glass sect. Before, you wanted to win me over, but you couldn't even draw a big cake. Why should I go to such an unstable place? Now that I have defected to the royal family, I will no longer assist other forces, Lin Fan said before leaving calmly. Ning Rongrong stayed in place and clenched his fist. Thinking about what Lin Fan left behind before, I feel very angry. The way she used to win over Tang San was not as good as her previous approach. When she wooed Tang San, she directly recommended it to her father and grandfather. When trying to win over Lin Fan, they deliberately kept some distance. Damn Lin Fan, he just went out for a few days and is so proud. You better not let us meet in the promotion match. Ning Rongrong thought to himself, wanting to slap the other party hard. When Lin Fan passed by two other Shrek girls, Xiaowu secretly glanced at him, wanting to say something, but didn't speak up. Zhu Zhuqing also glanced at him without saying anything. Everyone has their own aspirations, let's go. Shrek doesn't need to beg the other party to return either. Lin Fan also glanced at Xiao Wu, who was secretly looking at him. His face was calm and he didn't say anything. But Xiao Wu tightened her delicate body. There is actually no adultery between the two people. When Tang San didn't give Lin Fan immortal grasp before, Lin Fan decided to secretly sabotage. So he told Xiao Wu not to continue following Shrek. As a soul beast, you will not be discovered in Tiando City, but if you go to the martial Soul Empire, where the title, Douluo is bestowed, sooner or later you will be discovered. If you continue to stay here, it will only cause trouble for the group, and you will also label those who protect you as colluding with soul beasts. Lin Fan was about to sow discord like this at that time. Anyway, Xiao Wu was scared, so when she saw Lin Fan all along before, she was a bit scared and lost her liveliness. She has been struggling these days, hesitating whether to leave. Get out of here, Lingling is not someone you trash can covet. A furious shout came out. Upon hearing this, Lin Fan felt that the words were somewhat familiar, like the voice of a lone goose. He walked over quickly and saw Yi Lingling, who had already changed into a new set of clothes, being protected by Zhuge. Yi Lingling changed into a water blue long skirt, with smooth hair and sparkling eyes that looked like gemstones. The water blue long skirt fits the delicate body, and a pair of white and slender legs are exposed, which is quite charming. Yi Lingling also showed a pleading gaze towards Lin Fan. Standing in front of Zhuge was a man in splendid attire. This person is very famous in Tiando City and is generally known to everyone. It's a super dandy, Avalanche. Zhuge, for the sake of your grandfather, this prince won't argue with you. Let Miss Yi Lingling come over and have a few drinks with me. Don't worry, I won't do anything to her, Xue smiled and said to the two young girls. There are also two powerful members of the Heavenly Fighting Royal Knights around him. Their strength is at the level of Soul King. Avalanche always requires a bodyguard when traveling, which is quite domineering. How dare you? Lin Fan spoke lightly. As the words fell, the Avalanche also noticed a young man slowly approaching on the other side. It's you, the new captain of the Imperial Dou Squadron. Why, do you want heroes to save America? I'll give you a chance. If you can beat the two bodyguards around me, I'll leave. Avalanche's face was filled with confidence and immense pride. There are two Soul Kings around him, and although Lin Fan shone brightly during the competition, he is just a soul sect. Seeing this scene, Zhuge clenched his fist. If this matter is directed at herself, she can easily resolve it, but the other party is targeting Yi Lingling. It's okay, just a few drinks, isn't it? Yi Lingling's face also became firm, and she quickly walked out and said. No need, it's just a small matter. Just two Soul Kings, I don't pay attention to them yet. Lin Fan reached out and stopped the girl who was about to move forward. Just two Soul Kings. Those who don't know think you're a title Douluo. Avalanche burst into laughter upon hearing this. Lin Fan's gaze remained calm. You already have a way to die, he thought lightly in his heart. If it weren't for the Avalanche suddenly jumping out to find fault, he would have forgotten about this guy. This person has been acting, making himself look like a fool. Because this way, I won't be targeted by Qianren Xue and killed. Now, his fate has come to an end. To avoid the failure of Qianren Xue's plan, the Avalanche must die. Two knights beside the Avalanche emerged, wielding spears and martial souls, with 5 soul rings appearing on their bodies. 4 soul rings suspended from Lin Fan's body, and the dragon-slaying sword appeared. End of this chapter.